guys, welcome to Hughes History. In the last few days, I think everybody is thinking about gun violence. And I think if we're going to have a discussion, it's important as an educator and as a citizen that we talk about the Second Amendment, that everybody knows the words, and that everybody has this most basic understanding so we can use that as dialogue in our lives as we talk about public policy. So giddy up, here we go. Let's take a serious look at the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. All right, so if you believe, as most people believe, that the Supreme Court interprets the Constitution through judicial review, even though that's unwritten, we could talk about that another day, then really it becomes interpretation. It becomes, what do those words mean? And man, talk about a Rubik's Cube, right? Why don't they just say, right? Don't mess with the right of people who keep bear arms. Whew, would that make the conversation easy? But nevertheless, there's kind of like a preface and a follow-up. So throughout American history, and we're going to get to current case law in a moment here, we've kind of bounced between kind of a collective interpretation, meaning that the beginning of that amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to a free state, kind of helps to define the second part, meaning that there can be ownership, but within a collective state militia, and that is well-regulated. So therefore, we've had restrictions on personal gun ownership in our past. That was kind of interpreted that way. We would say, I guess, would be maybe a strict interpretation of those words. But as we've progressed as a country, we've kind of moved to a more individual interpretation of those words, meaning that the founders do talk about this, and Fed 46, Madison talks about this, Hamilton talks about this, and this is the conservative argument, is that in order to protect yourself against tyranny, i.e. the government, Declaration of Independence kind of stuff, the people have to have arms. Otherwise, the government won't be afraid of them and will take their rights away. And of course, the progressive argument, the other side is, how many guns do you need to fight the army? I mean, really? I mean, if you had every gun in the country, the army would still squash you like a bug. So let's move on from that argument. But nevertheless, that is rooted in, the Federalist Papers and i.e. the intentions of the founders. So wherever you fall on that, there's definitely a lot to dig your teeth into that amendment. So let's take a quick look at some of the regulations that we have now and how the Supreme Court has decided these matters. In the recent past, the Roberts Court in 2008 in D.C. versus Heller and 2010 McDonald versus Chicago have basically sided on the individual interpretation of the Second Amendment. So Congress can't pass a law to take away anybody's personal firearm for self-protection, for hunting. But the Congress can regulate that. That's basically what those decisions come down to. In the McDonald case, the court ruled that the federal rules apply to the state and the individual, to the people, i.e. selective incorporation in a sense. But nevertheless, there are regulations, and there have been regulations. The Brady Bill, for instance, and the most powerful organization for gun lobbyists in the United States is the National Rifle Association. And the NRA, sticks up for their members. They believe in a pure interpretation of that amendment, that there's no regulation, fought the Brady Bill. James Brady was the press secretary for Ronald Reagan, who took a bullet to the head, I believe, and basically became, kind of stroke paralyzed. And he led a campaign to get background checks because John Hinckley, the man who shot Reagan, was, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and Jodie Foster, and Google it, it's a long story. But nevertheless, he had, problems at the airport recently, and he was, under psychiatric evaluation, and somebody should have known that before they handed this guy a gun, and then he went off to kill, or try to kill, the president. So it took that, and another, 10 years to get that passed. And in 1993, Bill Clinton signed that. And basically, the way that it works, and there were some court problems at the state level, is that there's a background check. That the gun dealer gets on the phone with the FBI, and the FBI plugs it in and says, good, bad. And, it's a very low percentage of people that get, caught in that and are not allowed to have guns. But it's probably 1 million, 2 million people. I believe it's like 1 or 2%. So it's doing that. There is a loophole, a gun show loophole, and that might be something that's up for that gun debate about whether we need to close these loopholes. In the 1990s, Bill Clinton in the Democratic Congress in, I believe, 93, 94, passed an assault weapons ban. And this gets really definitional, and you can argue in the comments below, but, whether it's a Bushmaster assault weapon or a high magazine clip, those definitions were kind of fought over, but a lot of guns were banned. And then when that expired under George Bush, the assault weapons ban is gone, and now you can have these types of weapons again. So wherever you fall, nobody is saying, I think, out there on the left or the right that there's one answer. Talking about healthcare and mental health care, education, all types of other issues surrounding this other than guns and that, I think is important. But in order to have this dialogue, let's sink our teeth into that amendment and then really start talking from a factual base, and we'll go from there. So giddy up, there it is. Hip Hughes, I think, has done the Second Amendment. We'll see you guys next time as we do something else, which I don't know because I wing everything. All right, see you guys. Subscribe. You should subscribe. Subscribe to me. Subscribe to the EDU gurus. Subscribe to all the education people. Subscribe to all Polypop. Subscribe to yourself.